we're live. Welcome to this week's Indian Lake Fishing Report, brought to you by Indian Lake Outfitters and powered by Pro Joe Baits. Pro Joe's Baits. Guys, I didn't prepare anything today. Go off the top of my head. I had to take a little nap, make some dinner. Kind of a slow day. The heat got to me yesterday. First things first, wipe my eyes. Still need to get a little fishing in myself yet this evening. Might do a little sawguy fishing. Have to be up early tomorrow morning. Over jumped in there. Thank you. Hope everyone had a good holiday weekend. A lot of people are still hard at it right now on their 4th of July vacation or whatever you might want to call it. Yesterday, the surface temperature just happened to be 82 degrees right before the storm moved in. Those conditions made for a great night of flathead fishing. It really turned them on. So, you guys out there flathead fishing, you ought to have another good evening tonight if you have the chance to get out there. Get your live baits ready. Make sure your poles are restrung or you don't have any frays in them. I just happened to get me some new swim baits from Pro Joe's. You guys need to check these out. They are producing a lot of sawguy in mixed bags. Very nice swim bait. The water is flowing at the spillway. The pool below it is jammed full of fish, as usual. So if that's the type of fishing, or if you need bait, you can jump down there to the spillway, get you some bait for your flathead fishing. Watching from country concert, hell yeah, man, good deal. I hope that goes well over there and you guys don't get rained out. Thanks, Jason, Ben. Buckeye Country Super Fast. Heck yeah. Hope you guys are having a good time over there. Yesterday, with the heat, any recommendations around Seminole Island? Man, just about anywhere you go around the lake right now, Ben, that seems to be good fishing. The bluegill. The bluegill are all over the water columns, everywhere. You're catching them out on the main lake at a foot to 3 feet. You're catching them still tucked tight up against banks and structure, small jigs or an ice jig. You might be better off downsizing to a pretty small jig. The bite was a little bit tough yesterday, but we did end up with some channel cat, perch, bluegill, and a bunch of small crappie. And then we're all caught on small jigs. If you downsize, you're gonna have a lot better luck. There's no doubt about it. Do you put live bait on the jig? Sometimes I do. Little wax worm or something. Sometimes I just jig without anything on it. Just depends on how the bite is. And every once in a while, when you run one of these sawguy baits, swim baits for sawguy, sometimes you can put, if the bite's a little tough, sometimes you put a little piece of night crawler on there, or maybe a piece of wax worm, and that'll kind of help with your short strikes too, that might hang on just a little bit longer and get that hook set. Here's another good looking bait from them. If you can see that all right. My eyes are all kind of blurry. Hopefully my camera's not dirty. So anyways, the bite's still good. You guys, make sure check your lines every day. If you fish a lot or if you don't fish a lot, make sure you check about 6 foot of line. Make sure it doesn't feel rough or frayed. It does. Just get in the habit of cutting a big section line out, and it'll prevent you from losing a bunch of fish, because it's going to happen eventually. Do have a couple things to talk about. I got a couple tips for you too. The big annual 28th annual catfish tournament is coming up here pretty quick. It's gonna be on us before you know it. It's August 3rd through the 6th from noon till noon. Sign up start July 13th, which would be next Thursday. It's 100% payout. Sponsored by Jeans Marine Bait and Tackle, Mike's Bait and Tackle, Lakeside Pro Bass. Hosted by Jeans Marine and Tackle. Indian Lake Flathead Tournament's Junior Anglers Day is Saturday, August 5th. All the winners are subject to a polygraph. There's a bunch of great sponsors on that one again this year. That is the big tournament. You won't want to miss out on that. I guess they're going to have, I'll just read off some of the sponsors, but they're going to have the daily Feed the Fishermen. So there'll be a little bit of something for you to eat there during the daytime, I believe. I know last year we just I think we did hot dogs. We put a bunch of hot dogs on just whenever. You got Adeline Rod Racks is one of the sponsors. Dirty South Dragon Weights. They'll probably be down here and bring that big old fancy boat with them. Of course, you got Lakeside Pro Bass, Stanley Asphalt, Sasquatch Custom Lures, Swiss Barnes. I believe they were the $125 Big Fish sponsor. That's awesome. Make sure you get, what else we got there? Mad Cats and League of Ohio Sportsmen's Foundation. They were also sponsors. Make sure you get to any one of those locations. You go to Jeans, Mike's, Lakeside Pro Bass, any of those places. You start signing up July 13th. And it's always a great turnout, a lot of fun. I do have a couple tips. Oh yeah, here's the flyer. Said make sure if you're going to enter, make sure you get entered. Try to sign up early if you can. That'll give them a little better count. Do have a couple tips for you, and I'll get back to the fishing part. I find a little short pole here. I'm kind of jammed in a corner right now. Guys, here's number one no-no right here on any of your poles on these eyelets right here. These are ceramic eyelets. Do not take your jigs and hook them in here. If you do not have a bait keeper down here at the bottom of your rod, look at some YouTube videos or find a way to make one. Even if you got to put a rubber band or something around there to hold it. I'm going to tell you what will happen. Eventually you're going to crack this ceramic. And when your line runs through that ceramic that's cracked, you know what's going to happen. You're going to lose your personal best. It's going to split your line. So don't do that, folks. Another thing, it'll ruin your day on the water. When you cast that spin cast, if that's what you're using, do not crank this handle to close that bail. When you do, you need to do it by hand. reach your hand down there, close that bail. Because if you crank this and close that bail, you just put a half a turn in your line. It's gonna play hell with you by the end of the day. You're gonna end up with a big old bird's nest or a wind knot, whatever you want to call it, coming out of the spin cast. But yeah, never crank that bail closed. Definitely gonna get you. Starting to get some perch. The perch bite was on 2 nights ago. I was getting them towards evening underneath the bobber on a jig, on a small jig, and it was tipped with a wax worm. I haven't been doing anything with any minnows here lately. The crappie are starting to come back in closer to the shore. I don't know if we're going to get another storm yet tonight. That should affect some things. I know it's sprinkled here a little bit. So, but yeah, the fishing's been good. They're still trolling around the islands and out here on the main lake getting saugeye. Conditions are good. You got Chippewa still doing great. Post Office Island, there's fish being caught around that, which I know not a lot of people go there. And guys, there's a lot of places around the lake that you can go and stop at. And just a suggestion, if you don't live here and you come down, make it a day. You know what I mean? Plan on making a day, an outdoor adventure out of it, and just you need to stop and get you a map. The bass bite's good, Ben. The West Bank has been producing big mixed bags. The bass bite seems to be really hot on the West Bank. Um, Black Hawk was doing well on bass in the channel and around, like out around Tecumseh Island. That's a hot spot for bass fishing out in that area. They like hitting a lot of the docks out there. Um, any recommendations on best means to fish for them? Them guys are usually throwing some blade baits, spinner baits, any of that type of stuff, or small. Even these saugeye baits are catching them. I've caught quite a few bass out here on the West Bank using saugeye bait. The channel cat, no matter where you go, you're getting them. And a lot of times, no problem. You're welcome, Ben. A lot of times the channel cat right now, they're still hitting the top of the water when the bait hits the water on the way down. They seem to be nabbing it, and don't get me wrong, I like catching channel cat, but a lot of times I'm using a real small, softer style jig for crappie, and by the time I end up getting it out of their mouth, the jig is ruined. So I kind of hate that. I go through a lot of jigs, a lot of bobbers, but the West Bank has kind of been on fire, and like I said, it's producing mixed bags. I actually got a flathead off the West Bank here the other night with a live bluegill. So by no means don't think that the Dream Bridge area is the only place that produces flatheads, because that's not the case. They're all over this lake, and the conditions are, whether it be the lake conditions or the weather conditions, is what's going to dictate whether you catch one that night. And in the lake, well, I'm familiar with the term West Bank. Okay, Ben, West Bank is, if you know where the Pro Bass Shop's at, that's the West Bank along there. When you get to the light right there by Lakeview, and 33 runs over here, and it splits. There's a split that goes around the lake right there, curves to the left. When you curve to the left to follow the lake around, then that part's considered the south bank. So that's what divides the south and west. So I know I get confused on that myself. But a lot of these places, um, wherever you stop, I don't know about the boat ramps anymore. Usually at the beginning of the year they have them, but there should be lake maps, and there's different ones. I showed a few of them last week. I don't even know what I did with them, but some of them have the depth charts on them, and that it's really handy to have one of them. Like I said, anybody that doesn't come up here a lot should grab one of them from probably any of the bait and tackle places, um, and have that with you. And you really should just make a day of making your way around the lake. You're gonna have a little better fishing trip, I think. I know a lot of people might show up and fish for an hour and say nothing's biting, but about the time you go home, it's lunchtime for the fish. If you don't catch them, I'm going to. But I guess I was kind of being a smart ass saying that. But things are doing really well down here. The perch bite. I have not caught any big perch this year myself. I've caught some of the smaller ones. I did get a white bass yesterday. It looks like the white bass are starting to make their way back. Um, they ought to be on fire here before long. It's warming up, so anybody that likes fishing for white bass, get prepared for that, because they're fixing to be on fire here before too long. So, but I just thought I'd give you kind of an update off the top of my head. Um, no matter where you go around the lake right now, if it's really hot in the afternoon, things are going to slow down. I've been catching my saw guy. All of them have been on the bottom. I've been slow roll, dragging the bottom with a swim bait. And that's what I'm getting. And that was midday. So I'm thinking, I don't know, I might go out here right before dark or about dark, and see if I can get a saw guy. That'll make me sleep good. But if anybody's got any questions, man, put them right on up there. I'll try to answer them. Like I said, for the ones of you that didn't see it, 28th Annual Indian Lake, the big fishing tournament right there. It's coming up. 3-day tournament. Make sure you get signed up. You can start signing up for that catfish tournament. It's August 3rd through the 6th, noon to noon. You can start signing up next Thursday, July 13th, at Jeans Marine, Mike's Bait Tackle, or Lakeside Pro Bass. Anybody else having any luck down here? Has anybody been down here? Hey, no problem, man. I enjoy giving you guys some info. If there's anybody out there, I fished yesterday from 6 a.m. to noon. Totally sucked. Yeah, it's pretty hot out, man. We got on some fish yesterday, and then it just kind of turned off. Before that storm, about an hour before the storm, it turned off. But um, the catfish tournament, they're looking for some help. They need some volunteers. They need about 4 volunteers for those 3 days. So if anybody is interested in helping out with that tournament, send me a message. I'll make sure it gets to the right people. They really need some help. That's a pretty big event. It's fun. There's free food. It's just a good old time. Heck, guys, I'm about half tired right now. I need to get some coffee on. And probably restring a pole. But I'm telling you, man, if you get down here, just stay on them. I haven't looked at the barometric pressure today, but I don't know. It may rain again yet. Like I said, the surface temp was 82 degrees yesterday over on the islands. That's pretty warm water. I don't know what it was below the surface. It vary everywhere, but early mornings and evenings right now, when we're coming into summer like this, the temps are heating up. Early mornings and evenings are going to be your best bet unless you want to tough it out and fish all day. Not saying you're not going to catch anything, because you will if you stay at it. You'll end up catching stuff, especially if you can find structure, or they're going to be tight up, under docks and up against the walls and rocks and stuff. So don't rule out bridges, especially coming into this warmer weather. Bridges are going to be very important. You're going to find a lot of fish around your bridges and them channels. One, they provide some cover. Two, when they build them bridges, they're digging dirt out, so you're going to have some deep holes around bridges. And then when you have current, I know I've talked about this before, but if you're looking for crappie in the channels and we've gotten rain and there's some current, and you get to the back side of that bridge, you're going to be hiding on the back side of them pillars. Or if there's any structure, they do not like current, so they'll just hug tight, and you'll find them. Them white bass, once it gets hot like that, they go deeper. You don't see them busting water. Hit all your bridge areas. They'll be down there a little bit lower. You can drag them up out of there. So, but I just thought I'd give you guys a little update. Things are doing really good down here. But like I said, once it gets hot during the day, you got to kind of pick and choose your times right now. So the evening fishing should be picking up really hot right now. So if you're planning on doing any flathead fishing, better get out there and get your baits and make sure you're strung up good. That bite's turning on. So, hey guys, till next week, I'll be a little bit more prepared. Something for you. Just had a lot going on here. So, I will see everybody next week. Good luck, everybody. Hope you had a great holiday. We'll see you later.